Welcome, everybody. This is Ray of RebelEars.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the podcast on Anchor.fm and also watching this video on YouTube. So, a few things I'm going to discuss with today, three things. So, H delay, acoustic panels, clouds, whatever you want to call it, and Henry with the three. So, let me go ahead and start off with H delay. So, H delay is a plugin by Waves, and it is very, very simple to use. I really like the characteristics of it. So starting off, people, tend to confuse reverb and delay. So a good example, reverb is the actual echo that sounds spacious, and delay is like the continuation. So let's say you say yeah, and you set it up with the delay, it'll be like yeah, 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 yeah. And depending on how much feedback you put in, it can last a long time. Um, with H delay, there's so many different knobs on there. Of course, you have your dry and wet. So dry and wet means, if you turn the knob to the dry, it won't be so much effects that's put into the track itself. The more you turn up on the wet, you'll hear like more of the characteristics of the plugin itself. And also with the output, you can turn up the output within the plugin itself, so you don't really have to worry about the fader on the sends, depending on how much you want to put in and out of it. When it comes to the analog, my preference, I would keep it at 0 because it'll change the characteristics. You'll see like it might be off by a quarter, but you got to test it out and see how you feel about it. So one thing I do like to use on it, because you have your BPM, so that's beat per minute. You also have your host, and you have what's called the mid side. So mid side is between mono and stereo. So the difference when it comes to mono and stereo, mono is just one signal in the middle, like vocals. Like if you have an artist that's rapping, that's one set of vocals. And like when you want to add effects when it comes to like stereo, now stereo means left and right. So channel 1, channel 2, that's left and that's right. And you'll hear two signals. That's more like on instruments, guitars, you have a left and a right. Instruments, depending, some people like to use that for hi-hats. I even seen people who actually split their kick to change the functionality in my opinion. One could be set at a different octave, or one could be used with a compressor, make it sound tight. The other one could like boost the signal. It depends on really how you want to have it set up. And then when it comes to BPM host and mid-side, in my opinion, the best one to use is BPM. So BPM is beats per minute. So it was when I was with Chase Lett, an artist, very dope. You should go ahead and follow him on Instagram. Project coming out early 2020. So we was working on one of his songs, and it was the stop plugin on Logic. Honestly, I'm not really good with Logic. Logic, in my opinion, is mostly for productions, but Henry with the three, he used it for mixing, recording, mastering, and producing. So, each his own. Me, I use Pro Tools a lot, and it's convenient for me because I've been using it for years. So when I went to Chase Session, it was a template that I gave him, and on the delay, it was the stock delay. I think it was stereo delay by Logic. So it's cool, but I'd rather use something that I'm comfortable with, which H delay is simple when you can go on Logic. When you go to audio effects, you go to metering, and you'll find BPM counter. That's how you can find the BPM of the actual beat on Logic. With Pro Tools, you can use tap tempo, or you can actually use the conductor and put the tempo in yourself. There's ways to do that. I'll show you how to do that as time goes by in the future. But when it came to that session, the beat was at 95, the tempo. So on the H delay, all you really have to do is instead of host, you click BPM, turn it down to 95 beats per minute. And then depending on how much feedback you want, I really don't put that much into it because I want to hear I want to hear enough of it, but I want it to go out by the next word or ad lib, depending on how you have it set up. So, there's so many things when it comes to it. The filters from 20 to 20,000, high pass, low pass, is very flexible, and I like how you can configure the delay signal with it. Um, it really helps out when you want to, make it either muffled or you want it to be present. It really depends on how you want to have it set up. And one thing I do like about the delay, it has a ping pong effect. So that can be something that's similar. We did it on one of Chase's tracks. So with the delay, he said, yeah, yeah. And then from the left, you heard it, yeah, yeah. And then the right said, yeah, yeah. Because it was a ping pong. It goes from left to right. And it just add like more of a, how do you say, more surround kind of feel, like a surround sound. And that's one reason I really like it. But there's more to use with H Delay by Waves. I recommend it. There's going to be more plugins I'm going to be shouting out. Right now, we'll go to acoustic panels. So there's two things. A lot of people confuse soundproofing and acoustic treatment. So soundproofing is basically keeping the sound inside. So let's say you're in another room and the inside of one room is too loud. You would soundproof the inside of that room, so when you're outside, you really can't hear it. The sound is all controlled inside. And acoustic treatment is basically treating the room for the sound. So it could be the reflection of the sound waves within the room. You want to have it balanced out to the sound pressure level, SPL. There's ways to do it. You can do it with a dynamic microphone. Because it's very convenient trying to find out from an omnidirectional point of view instead of a condenser mic, because it captures the signal in front of you. With a dynamic microphone, it'll capture like 360 in a certain way. You gotta do research on polar patterns. So with acoustic treatment, with acoustic panels, what you can do, you can, build it yourself. I built over 20 acoustic panels myself. I got them from the pieces I got from Walmart, the wood, the nails, the wires, insulation. And, you can get the fabric from a fabric store, Joann's, Michael's. And you can get it at a good price depending on the design that you want in the room. They have so many different colors and layers. And it's very cost effective if you make it yourself. There's tutorials on YouTube. But I just love to be able to, build from the ground up. I built my own vocal booth. It's a professional one. Soon, in 2020, I'm going to be building another vocal booth. I'm going to try to build, one every 6 months as time goes by. And I'm going to be selling it. But that's going to be far off in the future. Mostly when it comes to acoustic panels, you usually see them at studios, churches, home theaters, even restaurants. That actually surprised me. But, depending on where you're going, you don't really hear that much echo, and it just helps to control it. Now, when it comes to a cloud, because I was with Henry with the 3 a couple of days ago, and we was building his cloud. It was 8x8, so it was bigger than mine. Mine's only like 6x2 because I only wanted like a single one above me, but his is just massive. And it was cool to work with his friend who literally builds studios. I forgot his name, but I will get it for the next podcast or video, depending. Talk to Henry about him. But the cloud is really good for, sound waves bouncing from the ceilings, because it'll go all directions. In studios, they'll have panels, even diffusers. Now, diffusers, there's different kinds of diffusers. When you look at it, it just looks like a lot of different wood blocks in different shapes, size. And it's really to control the sound of the room. It's very easy to make. At SAE, I remember they gave us this paperwork that actually show you how to cut it off if you go to Home Depot Well, I don't know if they cut that many because after a certain amount of cuts, they'll charge you. So if you have your own measuring tape, and if you also have um, like a blade to cut it, then do it that way. It's very convenient to, like I said, build it yourself. Um, right now, I want to go ahead and shout out Henry with the three. Henry with the three is a very dope independent music producer from Atlanta, Georgia. He specializes in beat making, songwriting, recording, mixing, mastering, all the above. Like he is very talented when it comes to Logic. Um, if you want to check him out, you go on Instagram at H3NRY WITHA3. So you can follow him on Instagram, henrywiththe3.com, hardbeats.com, hardbeats.net. When you go to the website, he actually has over 50 productions on there that you can listen to, purchase, and he got free downloads on there too of selected beats, so you can go ahead and go on there and test them out. He also have deals when it comes to buy two get one free. He has the simple, premium, stems, and unlimited pack. Stem is popular because you get the track outs. So when it comes to the track outs, that's basically saying that you want everything individual. So when it comes to the actual tracks, you have your kick, your snare, your hi-hats, the instrument. It might be guitar, synth, whatever it might be. But it's convenient when it comes to you working with all the selected tracks that you can customize yourself. So when you don't have the track outs, you only get an MP3 version of it or a WAV version. So basically, that's everything compressed. So all the instruments are one. So like if someone says, "Hey, let me go ahead and write to the beat. Can you email me the beat?" So they didn't say for the track out. So that's the difference. And Henry got good deals on that. He also have services from mixing and mastering your song for $200. Both you'll receive a full radio ready streaming ready mix, vocals, beat if stems provided, master of one track. So it's a real good deal. Even to customize a beat for you too. Now a customized beat is $800, but you get your worth because a lot of people nowadays they just get stuff off of YouTube, and I really don't recommend that. But he also have a YouTube channel. You should go ahead and check it out. He got all his productions on there, over 50, like I was telling everybody about. Some of his production credits, engineering also, Trinidad James, Rich Homie Quan, 29, Germ, Jacquees, JID, Earth Gang, Mano, Skipper the Flipper, Little Donald, Leah Culver, Juicy Fruit, Massitron, and so many more. Like he is very, very talented. You should go ahead and follow him. Another thing I want to bring up, because a lot of people don't really know like the first step on what to do, especially trying to make music full time. I would recommend you working with another person who has the same mindset as you. So, it could be a good friend of yours. It could be someone you met from an event. It could be someone from school, because a good friend of mine, Lee, I met at SAE, Arm& Hammer. I met at SAE, School for Audio Engineering, graduated in 2016. After I graduated, I was interning at Castle Hill Studios, where I met Steve Hibicki. Worked with him on a lot of projects. From the first one that he sent me was Ray Shrimmer's By Chance. All he wanted me to do was to, I'm trying to remember, I think it was either prep it for the tour, because you have to have a show mix, you have to have instrumentals, you have to have just the ad libs, because good example, when you're on the radio, when you're listening to the radio, and you might be listening to there might be an event at a club, and they might have Amigos beat or a Drake beat in the background of it. So that's why you would have the instrumental track. And it's very convenient, especially when you're trying to market yourself. You should always know like what to have as an artist, because you don't just want to be the artist with just, the track itself. And if the DJ asks like, do you have a show CD or just the instrumentals? Because that's how, a lot of artists are able to go, be on commercials, radio spots, because it's all about having everything organized. So when it comes to organization, please make sure as an artist you have a show version, dirty version, clean version, instrumental track, and ad libs. And, get into song arrangement too. You should always, take your music to the next level by being selective on what you want to present to people, because I learned this from Mike Will. Mike Will made it when I was with Steve Abicki, and he was working on the Black Beatles remix that had Nicki Minaj on it. So I was with Steve, and Mike was calling him because he needed to release the remix by the end of the day. So it's all about being consistent, staying on schedule, making sure to be professional no matter what you're doing. And I just learned so much from Steve, from some tricks I will show y'all. I'm going to save it for some of the other podcasts. But one of the tips I learned from Steve, test your headphones, your speakers, because I remember going to Tree Sound Studios and Zach Studios, Astro Studios. Steve was always, I remember when he's satisfied with a little part of the mix, he'll stand in the middle of the room and he'll look from the left monitor and the right monitor, because he's always trying to get the 808 to sound like with enough of distortion that blends in with the kick. And I seen engineers literally spend 4 hours on a kick and 808. Like, no joke. I saw a person spend 2 hours on a snare, one snare. And I know like time is of the essence, but if you want something perfect, of course you're going to have to take your time. Don't rush into it, because you never know. That one piece of just being patient, sticking to what you feel with the track, could really be a hit. It could be something that can set you apart from all the engineers in Atlanta, in America, even around the world. So, take that, use it, make sure to test your equipment, get familiar with your equipment to the point that it's easy for you to go to another studio, but your ears have to be trained to different frequencies, because every studio is different. Every studio is not going to have the same equipment, from the monitors to the outboard gear to the plugins itself. So always be willing to, don't limit yourself, basically. Be open to use plugins you're not familiar with, because Steve will send me sessions of plugins that I never heard before, but I have. And it just makes it convenient for you to know that, there's so many plugins out there. It's hard to really keep track of it, but it gives you that versatility to the point that I can open one of Steve's session and I know, like, okay, R compressor, okay, I can use that, or reverb, the Puig Child 670. That is a special plugin. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know. It's by Waves. It emulates the Fairchild 670. It's compressor, and it is like so amazing. Like, you can use it for your drums, instruments. I do know that a lot of engineers use it for vocals. I don't know if they track through the Fairchild, but I do know they're using it for the mixing stage. The Puig Child 670 by Waves is used for drums, vocals, and it's really good for, your tracks. I'll just put it that way. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast of Rebel Ears. Thank you for watching the YouTube of Rebel Ears. As time goes by, I will be putting out more information. Anything that y'all might have a question on, please let me know. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Put the notification on. If you have a comment, please leave a comment. Like it. If you don't like it, please let me know what you didn't like about it, because I always want to build. I always, want to go to the next step on being successful, especially if it's something that you love. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode. So when I was talking about getting your supplies from Walmart, what I meant to say was get your supplies from Home Depot. You can get your fabrics from Joann, any fabric store, but when it comes to the supplies of studs, wood glue, wires, staples, you need to go to Home Depot. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, thank you for tuning in, and catch you on the next episode.